everyone. This is Anju Jayaram. I'm co-founder at Women's Web and director at Vocallea Networks. Today we have with us Nidhi Mittal Bansal, who's with Lenskart Foundation, and we are going to talk about some interesting aspects of her role as well as about primary eye care in India. So welcome, Nidhi.
Thank you, Anju. Thank you for inviting me over.
Nidhi is the chairperson of Lenskart Foundation. She has been working actively towards eradicating refractive error-based blindness from every nook and corner of our country through her venture. Today, she is collaborating with the Government of India to advocate vision correction as a national concern. It's great to have you with us today, Nidhi, at Women's Web. I just wanted to quickly dive into this and understand about how you started with the Lenskart Foundation, and what was your driving force, or what are the passions that drive you towards it?
So I'm professionally a journalist. I practiced 9 years in mainstream journalism, then branched out of India Today to start my business, which was a social media and content marketing agency. Mm-hmm. We were extremely profitable. It was a bootstrapped venture. We were profitable from year one. The business went on for almost 10 years when the pandemic hit us. Mm-hmm. And it was actually during the first wave of the pandemic when, like all other businesses, even the agency businesses had taken a hit. But more so, I and my husband started thinking about how we can pay back to the society in these times of suffering. And there was humongous suffering happening everywhere. So we looked at a lot of causes that we could support. Mm-hmm. But we also wanted to support a cause where there were not enough hands working. And of course, there was a natural inclination towards addressing vision problem as a whole. It wasn't really very pandemic focused, I agree. But we wanted to start off something that's very long term and where we knew we had some expertise, but we also were very, very shocked by facts like India is the blind capital of the world, and that 40% of world's blind population is in our country. We don't like that title at all. So we thought, what is it that we can do? Mm-hmm. And then we moved on to researching more. I spoke to a lot of international players in the space, a lot of organizations across the world who are working on primary eye care. So when I say primary eye care, it basically just means that you get your eyes tested and you wear corrective glasses, mm-hmm. which in turn helps you prevent avoidable blindness. That's it. Almost 80 to 85% of the blind population in the country could have avoided it mm-hmm. by just getting their eyes tested well on time and by wearing corrective glasses. The irony of the situation is, as big a country as we are, and as much unemployment statistics we read about year on year, there is a career opportunity as an optometrist, which is still seeing a dearth of people. So it became like a very multi-fold issue for us. And I started delving more and more into it to understand that the need of primary eye care in the country is a very entangled problem. So while there is access that should be created, but there are so many challenges because of which people in our country still do not have access to a simple eye test. Mm-hmm. And access to eyeglasses, again, has multi-pronged issues because glasses are expensive, there are quality issues, they're not precise lenses and all of that. So we started delving into, how do we solve it in a 360-degree manner? So our first step naturally was to first prevent the preventable blindness for the future of the country. And, there's little we could do now for people who've already lost vision, that you can prevent this preventable blindness for the children of the country who form the future of our nation.
Right.
So we decided to open these child eye care centers, which are 100% charitable centers, very, very focused on only the underprivileged sections of the society. We open them very strategically at locations in urban cities right now, where we know that in almost 4 to 5 kilometer radius, we are able to touch upon 5,000 to 10,000 underprivileged families. Now, while our priority patients at these child eye care centers are children, but 70% of the people we screen are adults. And we are happy giving primary eye care to anyone who walks into our center, because that is the larger goal, that everybody gets vision correction. But we inspire, we know that, your road to kids is through the adults of the family. So these child eye care centers have been instrumental over last 1 year. In fact, August, we celebrated 1 year anniversary of our child eye care centers. And we intend to create over 500 such centers over next 4 to 5 years across the length and breadth of the country. So this is how we are parallelly doing a lot of efforts. We go to government schools and small schools, set up eye checkup camps there to ensure that we are screening kids, spreading awareness. These kids very inspiringly then bring their parents and grandparents to our centers close by to get them screened as well. So the whole process is really working well for us and aiming to fulfill our mission soon enough.
Great. That's amazing to hear, Nidhi. So you answered my next question. What I wanted to also ask is, what are some of the challenges that people face when it comes to primary eye care in India?
Yeah, so the main challenge is access. Access to eye tests. And that's marred by a couple of these issues, which I'll tell you now. So one is, even as companies may come together, organizations may come together and put up camps, etc., but we will never be able to take it to every nook and corner of the country. And the primary concerns are, first of all, the awareness. And this, Anju, I've noticed is a problem in even urban India among educated professional class. A lot of us sitting here will still keep ignoring the stress in the eyes. We'll rub our eyes, sprinkle water, and keep going on. Every evening, by the time we finish our work, our head would be hurting. We'll probably pop a pill 3-4 times a week, but not take our time to go get our eyes tested. Plus, wearing glasses is still a big stigma in our society. And not just among women, largely among women. But even in metros, among urban population, we still see it as a big stigma. People do not want to wear glasses. They still feel it's a very jarring accessory for their face. So the lack of awareness about the importance of getting your eyes tested regularly and the importance of wearing glasses is a big, big challenge that we are facing. The second is access. And the access is again marred by two things. One is, of course, optometry as a profession is not being taken up by a lot of people in the country. We need to make this a very lucrative career option. And in this, we will need our government support. This is why we want to work very closely with governments, state governments, central government. And we need a lot more colleges, universities, and institutions to take this up as a course. So once you have a lot more optometrists, companies and organizations will be able to open a lot more centers, vision care centers in many more parts of the country. And of course, we at Lenskart Foundation are also developing a research and development team, which is working parallelly with some engineers to research what more affordable eye care equipment can be created, because right now the equipment like autorefractometer, lensometer, which are instrumental in screening eyes, are extremely expensive. So we need to create more affordable, more portable technology and equipment. And the third thing is advocacy. Like I said, all of us need to work very closely with our governments so that more focus comes to primary eye care.
So you mentioned that wearing glasses is a stigma, and for women especially. So are there any challenges you've come across specific to women while working in this field in preventive or corrective eye care?
Initially, yes. We still have a long way to go. But, initially, it's difficult to make them wear glasses as compared to kids and men. They all still feel, a lot of us women still feel, whether I'm talking about metro, urban, semi-urban, rural women, they always have this hesitation. And all age groups, from a 16-year-old girl to a 65-year-old elderly lady, we've had to convince them, and a lot of energy goes in doing that. Ayushi Agarwal, who's our senior most team member, she comes with a lot of experience in social impact work. She's gone from village to village along with me, and I've seen her speak to these women, and it's also, it's very sweet to hear them talk, saying, "Arey nahi, acha nahi lagega. Husband kya bolenge, sasur ji kya bolenge." We've witnessed all of this, but and it's very easy to convince them also. They, after all, once they are convinced, would they convince their children to go through this entire process? Once they realize how this has benefited their life and daily life, will they be able to inspire their kids to also get their eyes tested and to wear glasses? Because then they can understand how wearing glasses, if the child needs vision correction, how wearing glasses could really improve his performance, his or her performance at school also. And a very big example of this, Anju, was in Ghaziabad. Our center we opened at a school, a girls' school in Khora village. This was with Khushi Foundation. Khushi Foundation runs this school in Khora village, and we opened our center in the school. 350 girls. Our first project was to screen all of these girls. And there were these 4 girls whose parents were about to terminate them from the school. The reason being, पढ़ती नहीं है, इनके तो नंबर ही नहीं आते हैं, performance बहुत खराब है, क्या करना है पैसे खराब करके. And the fees was hardly 300 rupees a month or so, but yet. And then, we went out of our way to convince these 4 sets of parents to give us 3 months. We screened these girls. All of them had very high power. One had -6. There was one child, 8-year-old, who had -11 power. She was almost blind. I mean, we don't even know how she managed 2-3 years of academics. And no wonder her performance was poor.
Right.
We screened them. We gave them corrective glasses. We ensured we screened them every 30 days. And in 3 months' time, they were all performing really well in their classrooms. But yes, in the initially hesitation was also, nahi, ladki hai, chashma nahi lagayenge hum usko. But now almost 35% of the girls in the school wear glasses with whatever little power also. Even if it's -0.5, we ensure the child wear glasses so that, she doesn't become a myopic. Myopia is a big issue. 25% of the school dropout rate in India is because of myopia. That's really, really concerning, you see.
True. That's quite interesting to learn as well. You were mentioning that you have some really good results with women and initiatives with primary eye care. So could you tell us a little bit more about that? So you said a lot of a higher percentage of women are now coming for prevention of eye care or preventive eye care
Yes,
measures.
yes,
So,
yes. I think overall, I mean, that's what, when I spoke to a few people at WHO, in the initial months of having started the Lenskart Foundation, we were, of course, mulling what all projects we should undertake. We were very sure of focusing on children. But my personal interest was also to find out what is the vision care status among women. And I was speaking to a few people at World Health Organization who work very closely in the villages in India, semi-urban and rural areas. And I was quite surprised when they told me that overall the healthcare scenario among women have improved. They said over last 4 years, about 4 to 5 years, they've seen that the turnout of women in the local health camps has increased by around 65%. And that surprised me because, the general notion was that women do not prioritize their health. It is always first the man of the family and then the children of the family. Among children, the boy first gets the priority when it comes to healthcare, and then the girl and the woman herself puts herself last. But now they're saying that in large number of families, woman has started considering herself as the priority member whose health matters. And the turnout has been a proof of that number. So he said, okay, let's start something and see. But, our child eye care centers have been a proof of this fact as well. Among adults who come to our child eye care centers on a daily basis, 55% are women.
Okay.
Of course, we have, we go into the communities and we are mobilizing on a regular basis. Our teams are doing a lot of legwork because there's information dissemination that we have to do. Our awareness campaigns are extremely localized. And we've also hired women, local women from these communities to be our mobilizers. So, but as part of that, it's been very inspiring. It's very easy to tell these women to come and get their eyes tested. There is, of course, initial hesitation because people still do not know that eye test is absolutely non-invasive.
Right.
Nobody even touches you. The practitioner is sitting across the table and screening you through a machine, making you read a chart. It's all absolutely non-invasive. That is something that we have to tell them. That nobody is going to even touch you. You just come, sit. It's gonna take between 20 to 30 minutes. और आपको free चश्मा मिलेगा अगर आँख में तकलीफ है तो. That is the only concern we have to address, and they very willingly come to the child eye care center between the hours. Husband has gone to work, kids have been sent to school, all the housework done, and they have a couple of hours in between. They come to our child eye care center. They say, मेरे पास सिर्फ 1 घंटा है, 1.5 घंटा, आप जल्दी से कर दो. We of course have a couponing system because our child eye care center see a queue of people every morning. That we figure out how we manage that, because our mobilizers are from within the community, and they keep the center staff informed on how the day should look like.
So I also wanted you to illustrate on any challenges that you face at putting such a huge operation on ground at scale. So what are some key challenges or principles that you have to keep in mind when you work on a project of this scale?
Initially, yes, there were challenges. So with the child eye care centers, our another ambitious project is the road safety campaign that we've taken up, under which we are screening the truck drivers. Again, based on the data that over 50% of the road accidents by truck drivers is because of their weak vision. And it is dire need that we address, and we correct as many vision of truck drivers as possible. So we've started this road safety campaign wherein we are going to transport nagars and depots, and we have a mobile IOPD which we park there and screen truck drivers. We've also started partnering with corporates like Amazon, who are inviting the Lenskart Foundation to screen their fleet of truck drivers. So that's very inspiring. You know, we hadn't even started reaching out to corporates. They started reaching out to us saying, you know, we would want our driver partners to be screened and ensure that they have a 6x6 vision. So this, in this and our child eye care centers to projects, the only initial challenge is awareness. You know, we have to create, our teams work very hard on creating all the possible touch points with the subjects. Whether these are children, we go from school to school, we speak to teachers, we speak to principals. Our team stands in the morning assembly and tell all the kids and teachers about, they speak on the mic in the assembly of 1,000 kids, 2,000 kids in government schools, and tell them all about the importance of vision correction, how simple getting your eyes tested is, and that you get glasses for free. Now, in this segment, it's important for us to communicate this because there are financial constraints and concerns about spending money. So we have to reiterate that. And similarly with truck drivers, you know, we create all the possible touch points with the different transport nagars. We're speaking to corporates. We're creating these small, interesting things that they can hang inside their truck cabins so that it's a ready reminder on the importance of getting your eyes tested, wearing your glasses, because chashma dekhe bhi a lot of people will still not wear it unless they realize the importance of it. You know, there is this one data that says that our country's GDP annually suffers by 0.27% because of weak vision of the working population. That's a huge number, right? And we've set out to do that. We've set out to correct this number. We've set out to give away the title of being the blind capital of the world. And we would like to ensure that refractive error as an ailment doesn't stay in India. We need to create a campaign as big as polio. Our government did a stupendous job in eradicating it, but it took them 10 years to do so. And massive efforts, very massive, mass-oriented efforts, which is what we need to do with refractive error.
So I'm wishing you all the best to achieve all the goals that you set out.
Thank you.
At such scale from our entire team at Women's Wear. Lastly, I want to ask you one advice or a piece or a suggestion that you have for women who want to become social entrepreneurs or social or work in the social field or start businesses there.
My advice would be take the plunge. You will find support. You just ensure you're addressing a very focused cause. Because focus is what leads you to right research and right resources. Just ensure you have a cause in mind very, very clearly. And you've done enough research to understand what is the need of the art are within that area of work. Because scattered efforts right in the beginning, and you want to be an entrepreneur in this space, to be able to lead a team towards a cause, it needs a lot of passion coming from you, right? So lead by example, as they say. So ensure that you've spoken to enough people who are already working in this space. You've done the research. You have your strategy right in mind, and speak to a lot of people. I think that helped me a lot. It helped me a great deal. I spoke to people internationally. I spoke to government agencies, government authorities. I spoke to other NGOs who are already working in vision care in India, small and big. And at Lenskart Foundation, we still thrive with partners.
Right.
For every effort we make, we ensure we are cashing in on the experience the NGOs who've already been working for 15 years, 20 years. We want to gain from their experience. I don't want to waste time on creating my resources, getting into the communities, learning about their experiences. Why should I do that? Our partners have done so much good work already. We should just take further steps from there. So don't shy away from creating partners. Speak to as many people as you want, as you can. And I think that takes you places, and that helps you address the cause very clearly.
That's lovely to hear. Thanks so much, Nidhi. It was lovely talking to you today.
My pleasure, Anju.
Yeah, and in case any of you have any questions, please do put it down in the comment section below, and we'll be coming up with more such interesting guests and videos soon. Thanks so much, Nidhi. Bye.
Thank you. You take care. Bye.
You too.